hit the record button so we can get this. So hello and welcome, Nell. Now, I've known Nell for many, many years, and so she is going to tell us about herself, where she's originally from, and what she does, and we're going to have a global conversation this evening. So welcome, dear Nell. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Cicely, for having me on.
So Nell, tell us where you're from, what you do.
You want me to tell you where I'm from?
Of course, yes, of course.
So, all right. So I was born in the Netherlands, and I've also lived in the Caribbean for a few years before I found a detour to the United States. And I've been here in New York for, well, since '91, so that's been a while. I consider myself a New Yorker at this point. And I am a birth and rebirth doula, which means I assist in women during pregnancy and childbirth, as well as I assist people who are rebirthing into, out of their body, so to speak, and everything in between. People who are in transition, people who are looking to reinvent their lives. They find their way to me. And I also am a co-host at a radio show at WIOX Community Radio in Roxbury, New York, in the Catskills.
Right.
I live on the edge of the Catskills right now. And the name of the show that I co-host is called Soul Traveler Healing Journey Show. Very nice. We particularly talk about anything to do with the healing modalities and natural health.
So healing modalities and natural health. Since you've brought that up now, let's talk about that in regards to healing modalities and natural health. Let's talk about natural health. How do you do that?
How do you do that? You just
No, how do you do it? How do you work with people about natural health? Yeah.
So, well, that really depends where people are in terms of. See, I'm not a doctor. Okay, right. So I do myself, for my family, I've been seeking out natural-minded physicians, doctors of osteopathy, doctors of functional medicine who look at the whole body, not just symptom treatment. That we currently, we currently have a public health crisis. And, from where I am sitting and observing, I just see that there are a lot of, there currently is a fight happening that's against nature at this point. And it's now affecting humanity in the way that humanity seems to be warring against each other regarding treatments. And there is a public health body that currently wants to have a global monopoly under the guidance of people who do not have the credentials to drive that policy. And yet, this is happening right now. So, and right now, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. It's just the conversation is being politicized a lot, and I could see clearly where that comes from. And I don't know if I want to really get into that,
Right. Yeah. I think I think there's enough of that out there. I
So,
think we need to
yes,
stay high. We need to
yes.
stay at a high frequency.
Um, well, what I would like to say is that for I myself got involved in natural remedies when I noticed that for me, for a person like me, that modality was not working. It wasn't working.
Yes.
You know, so I needed to find something else, and I found it,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully. So we can see that happening in many different countries. I grew up in the Netherlands, where when my the family physician, when I used to live with my parents still, um, he retired, and there was a new physician that took over, and he was someone who was well versed in homeopathic remedies as well
That's
as
fantastic.
conventional medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, that I just fell into this naturally, and of
Mm.
course continued on that route.
Okay.
Um, and I found that in the United States, there are really wonderful natural healing modalities. I've always found my way. And I used to go to pediatricians and with my children, and I found that also that wasn't quite working. There was quite a clash in terms of
Yeah.
what
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what was working and wasn't working. So
Right.
I found a pediatrician who was also a doctor of functional medicine eventually, because
Great.
um, when your consciousness changes, then you will find people who resonate with that consciousness. So I found a pediatrician who was able to work with us,
Good.
and even resonated completely, and was able to even educate me on how to care for my children and how to keep them healthy.
Excellent. And that's important. I've also
Yes.
had some clashes in the past with doctors. I've had some serious clashes in the past, but I've been fortunate enough now to have a doctor now that I told him I like to also bring the holistic way of treating myself. I like to bring that in. I like to basically get a diagnosis and know what's going on and see how I can treat it naturally. And he was saying, look, I don't know much about it, but if that works for you, it's fine by me. I said, okay, good. You and I can work together.
Yes.
Yeah, because the soul, as you talked about soul, the soul knows what is right for them. And so nobody else should be coming and dictating or demanding what you should do, how you should do it, and when you should do it. Because I, the soul, know what is good for me. I know it. And I do know when there's times I have to go conventional, non-conventional, and it goes it's not even in any order as to what's conventional and non-conventional. I'm just using those two words, but not to label either one, because there is
Right.
no label. So it's important to find somebody that will work with you, especially when you're
Yes.
saying your children, because you don't want it to be a clash, because then that clash is an energy of clash. And then
Right.
that
Exactly.
energy is not good. So, so good for you now
No,
that you're
I
able to
just,
find out.
eventually when you notice that things are not working, and you find that your child is actually ill from the treatment, you
Mm-hmm.
realize that, okay, this is not the kind of doctor that I trust with my child. So you find some
Right.
other, someone who's not willing to think along with you far enough in terms of, yeah, I think it really has to do also with, um, it has a great impact, the way you go about your life, and it just needs to resonate. So um, I have found doctors who are medical doctors by training, and who found other modalities as well, who I'm willing, and able to work with very
Mm.
well.
Excellent. Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
and it just fits seamlessly, and
Mm,
we don't have problems, we don't clash, and I've been able to keep my children healthy for many years,
it's
and they
beautiful.
know how to keep themselves healthy. They're very responsible,
Hmm.
and they're
Right.
in excellent health.
Yeah. And you've always been sort of into different natural healing modalities, things to bring balance and alignment to self. And I remember the
Yes,
first thing I ever got from you was remember the salt? Was it salt that came from the the
yes,
nether? Yes.
yes,
And I got one for my parents, and they really loved it, and they said how much it worked for them. And I remember when my dad's the chain broke, and he was really upset, and I had to get another chain for him and stuff. So, and also when he was not well, we came up, we drove all the way up to see you,
yes,
and
I
to
remember.
get some tinctures or tinctures, whatever, to help and support him. And so I've appreciated you over the years now. You've always been there as a support in regards to those alternative, supportive modalities of healing and stuff like that. So, and over the years, you've done that to make sure that you're okay, and to do things for others. So it's fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very
Yes.
much. That was actually a gem remedy that, I call them elixirs.
Elixir, that's it. Yeah, the
Yes,
elixir. Yes.
yes,
Uh-huh. They're
hmm
beautiful. Are you still doing the elixirs? Talk about how you do
yes.
those elixirs. Let's hear how you do that.
So, well, elixirs are made with, that came to me in a dream, actually,
Mm.
how to do it. And so it was at a time where I was seeing people falling apart around me, um, with some serious health issues. And I also was, you know, starting to become more and more conscious of what was happening in the world around me, and feeling very compassionate and what's the word? People call themselves empaths. I think that's a nice label. I wouldn't want to call myself that, but what
Mm-hmm.
happens is that when your consciousness is developing, um, yes, you notice what other people are feeling around you. And I was developing sensitivities to the point where it was really difficult for me to be out in public.
Mm.
So I had to find ways to still be able to be in public. And so one of the things that I found was that I could use crystals and then make remedies with them. And water is a great conductor of messages. So what I did was put, if I had a certain thing in mind that I felt I could make a remedy for, I would just put myself in a meditative mode or prayerful condition, whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I put water in a glass bowl, and then, um, you know, I basically was just guided by Mother, Father, Source, so to speak, and teams that I work with that are part of the realms that I work with and that I also see as aspects of myself and
Mm.
of my star family, nature beings. Um, so so the crystals would come to mind in terms of what crystals I would uh, that were appropriate to use for that particular remedy. So that's how it started. I put them in the water, and then eventually they would be charged in sunlight or moonlight, and then I would put them, add grain alcohol, and that would create and filter everything, and then create a mother tincture, and from there I can create the gem elixirs, the individual elixirs for a person. And then when I ended up having altogether 7 different elixirs. And so, and then I just check with the person who I'm working with, who's looking to have an elixir, which one resonates the most for that person. And then besides creating that elixir, I would also then channel the energies that are appropriate for that person. So that's how that works.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, because so is that a typical way that elixirs are made? Or are they made in different ways now?
I would say yes, they can be made differently. They can be made actually without using the crystals at all. They can be made now with just, if you wanted to, you can just, you don't have to actually put the crystals in them directly. I do some crystals directly, some indirectly. And, it depends. Some people only work with indirect methods of crystal remedies. That's possible too.
Very good. Right.
So I like to use the real crystals still. I still like to do it. And some crystals have a toxicity, so I will not put them directly in the water. I'll put them in a smaller crystal bowl. And that way they still, again,
see, I didn't even know that
charge.
You just taught me something. I didn't know that some crystals have toxicity. I didn't know that.
Yes. And but I have done it. I have done it where I was being asked to come to a different country, and there was someone there in a quite a life and death situation, and I didn't have elixirs on me. And I had some crystals, but I didn't have elixirs on me. And so I just, he was on an IV drip. And in that IV drip, I just, was able to create just the vibration of the frequencies of, the gem remedies that would be appropriate for him.
Wow, that's really good. Yes.
Yeah.
So did you do you obviously did some study on the different crystals that you knew what has toxicity, what's not, what's the right one.
Yes.
So So how long did you do the crystal study? Was it a long process or?
For me, not so much. No, it was easy. It seems to me that, you're never done. You're never done. But when I got into it, I just found my way to the books that resonated for me. So I used the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall. She has 3 volumes out. I find them really, very easy to navigate, so anybody can do it really.
Right.
She also has in the back of the book there are ways to, there's advice on how to make your own remedies as well.
Okay, lovely. So Nell, this is one question I like to ask people if I do remember, if I get a chance. How are you coping? I like to call it the new environment. How are you coping with your personally, with your family, business, whatever you feel passionate to discuss with us right now?
Well, I would say there are times where I'm jubilant, and there are times where I am down and out and grieving and angry. I think just like pretty much everyone else. Often when I come on Facebook, I notice that, wow, my goodness, there is a lot of booby-trapped space in here. There's a lot of anger going around. And
Yes.
I do understand it. I really do. And it doesn't matter where it comes from. Um, Everyone has their own experience. And I know that if I was in their shoes, I would think exactly like they're thinking. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame anyone for lashing out, for being angry, for being upset, for being scared.
Right.
I think that in all of my life, I have never been as scared
Mm.
for humanity
Oh, for
as I.
humanity. Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
um, I have never been this scared for humanity when I see what is currently going on. And at the same time, I also realize that that is a vibration that I do not wish to continue to be in, because then whoever is, exerting oppressive powers right now, um, would be winning. So yes, I'm not so quick to give up on humanity. I'm rooting for humanity to get through this,
Yes.
to find a way to come together on this,
Mm-hmm.
and that there is room for the individual as well as for the collective to still find a way to communicate non-violently.
It's
And
important. It's the only
yes,
way that we can get through this is to be
yes,
non-violent. But we're still seeing a lot of violent acts
yes.
locally, globally. We're seeing. I'm like, when I see it, I'm like, oh my goodness! It's like, what's going
Yes,
on? What is going on?
yes, exactly. It's really tough to see a whole world in lockdown. There are things about it that may be just really great, because now um, all of a sudden we find that we can do with less. But at the same time, there are things that are happening that are really not okay. Um, and you can see that the food, um, what you might call it, the lines, people who are unable to get their own food, they have to go stand online now at the food banks, right? Um, and for hours and hours and hours. Um, that's a situation that I don't, that's, yeah, I'm grieving about that. I find that really disturbing to see that happening. And these are people that were able to work and everything, and get their own food, and now they're unable to. So that is a situation that really um, needs to be addressed, obviously. Um, and so I'm having a hard time seeing that that's happening, for sure. And every day I come together with a team of fellow practitioners. I'm part of a group. We call our modality New Paradigm MDT, and MDT stands for multidimensional transformation, recognizing that we are multidimensional beings, and that we are here to, basically remembering why we are here and living from the heart, um, in love and freedom. That's who we are. And, essentially we come from divine love. And so that is our modality. We have people all over the world, on every continent, that are that have studied this. We've done workshops. We've done Stargate workshops. I've done 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
One in Greenfield, Massachusetts, and one in New Orleans. And that has helped me tremendously. And what's also
Good.
interesting is that the person who has been bringing this modality, who was, the founder of this modality, goes by the name of John Armitage, and he's also known as Haridas Baba. And what did I want to say about him? Oh, he was in the United States doing a series of workshops. And what's interesting then is that when I went to the Stargates, the workshops that were done before, they all came in because there are people that participated in all of the workshops. So that consciousness is all there. So there was a Memories of the Soul workshop that's been done.
Nice.
So all of that just came through. So these were really fantastic gifts for me to participate in. And I would say, John is a fantastic facilitator of these workshops because he's able to, and he has taught us how to protect our energy, how to create a conducive and protective space to work in.
That's good, yeah, because
Yes.
that's needed. That's why I asked you how you were doing, because there's many scenes that we're seeing in the drama, and there's so many things happening. And like you said, I've seen those visions of people lining up for miles and miles on food bank lines. Yes. And waiting to get food, and it's just, you just have that mercy for those souls that are going through that. And I see they come here, I think it's maybe once a week or twice a week they come here in my neighborhood. And you don't see that. It's like they come every week, but there's nobody really going there because, some places, I don't even think some people know about it. And you do see 1 or 2 people go, 3 people go get some food. But here, they give out food, but nobody's coming. And it's still nice to know that they're going out there on a regular basis and giving food and supporting in areas to help. But that's not enough long term now. That's not going to work long term. And so I've been talking to people in regards to organic farming. We have a lot of open land, open grass space, lots and what, that we need to start doing some sort of organic farming and teach people how to grow their own food. Yes. I mean, that's important because that's not going to work long term with these food banks.
It's not. And I do see, I see publications from even universities, etc., where they're saying, organic small farming is really, that will help feed everyone. And a huge globally. Influence is Vandana Shiva. I don't know if you heard of her, Vandana Shiva. Definitely look her up. Maybe you could find her and do an interview with her because she is phenomenal. She was the one who spoke out regarding those suicides in India after they got duped with Monsanto's, the GMO seeds that obviously were not,
It's a lot going on.
They were not what they were claimed to be. So, and it ended up causing a lot of suicides among the farmers in India. And Vandana Shiva was the one who brought that out into the world, and she has been starting initiatives to do sustainable small farming.
Yeah,
so that people do not have to starve. I have friends personally who are, and I do see also that there are publications out that can teach people how to actually create an edible forest in your garden. Nice. That sort of thing. So I have friends who are actually doing that.
There's all these little pockets. Well, eventually it's going to grow. I saw a wonderful article yesterday that I shared in regards to, they're talking about how that will eliminate world hunger is by this teaching people organic farming and providing that. Because this, it's not going to work long term in regards to we're going to ship food here and we're going to ship food there. It's not the way to go. It's just even just a simple, because I thought about for myself just doing a nice little window box and just putting some herbs and stuff. And if I want some fresh herbs, I just go pick them out. And that's nice. That'd be my organic.
Oops.
Yeah, so that was I'm actually looking forward to it. I've been researching it, but I want to find the right soil and the right organic seeds and all those things in regards to doing that. But I'm excited about creating my own little garden and stuff,
Yes.
with a little herb garden, and just adding to the footprint, right? That's what we need to do. And it's all about being consciousness and being aware of what we should do to take care of ourselves, self-mastery, self-sovereignty, being able to do what's best for each one. So not this dependency. I mean, everything, whether it be money, food, all of these things, we need to not be dependent on anyone.
Right.
We need to be self-sufficient. So anything, I'm all for that self-sufficiency and looking at ways to provide for the self, and in any creative way that one can. And so I'm all for that now. And you've been one to be like that. You've come up with you've connected with people and you've come up with your own ways to be self-sufficient, which is really very good. Mm-hmm.
Yes, thankfully we live in rural upstate New York. So yes, we have friends who are farming and are doing organic farming as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel quite fortunate. We also, if we need to, we can definitely create our own edible forest. If it ever comes to that, we would be able to do it.
So my next thing I'll be saying, Nell, ship me some vegetables.
So right now I don't see, that there is a need just yet, for me to do it. But we'll see what happens. I don't know where we are headed right now. I really am rooting for humanity to come together to have
me too.
discussions. Almost 2 weeks ago now, this Monday, 2 weeks ago, I was speaking with Margaret Ullman Bauer, and she's an herbalist. She is also in the Catskill Mountains. And she was telling me that she was on a Zoom meeting several times. This went on for months during COVID to come up with an herbal remedy for it that would work for COVID. In terms of protecting the immune system and
that's key, is the immune system.
Yes. They were working together with a group of 3,700 herbalists around the world.
Wow.
So they came together and they came up with a protocol. So, and I just thought to myself, wow, just imagine if we had scientists that actually would do that would just come together that in those numbers, instead of just saying, oh, well, we have a hierarchy that is all based on, patenting and, it's serving self rather than serving all. That's what that paradigm is based on, and it's obviously not working. We now have a global health crisis, and I'm personally not buying the official narrative at all. I can tell you that much.
Well, I try not to. I all the different things, I just don't want to. I've sort of shut everything off, to be honest with you now. I just don't want to be pulled into that.
I understand.
Energy. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I just feel like, well, there is a reason why this is happening, and I I keep rooting that humanity is coming together on this, and that
It's the only
there
way.
will be a way where everyone can work together, where there is the conventional model also allows for complementary therapies, like is already happening and just needs to happen a bit more. Because when I look at what's happening now with women that are going into labor, um, and that's also in part my field, and
Mm.
now um, doulas are not allowed to go in to hospital
Right. Yeah.
settings.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Even the husband isn't allowed to go in initially. There is a whole protocol that they have to follow, and they have to find out if the woman has to, if she needs a C-section, then the husband is not allowed in.
Right.
And they have to first do all sorts of tests, and then the woman has to wear a mask. The laboring woman has to wear a mask. That is not for her protection, and that's not for the baby's protection either. So as far as what I understand from what I've read from the science behind it,
Hmm.
from the British Medical Journal and other journals as well, are saying, well, this is an experimental thing. We shouldn't be too rushing to this conclusion to have people non-medical people wear masks. So but still it's happening, and these women that are in a very, very sacred um, way, where they need to give birth to a child. It's the most sacred experience that can be had as a woman. And now there's all these restrictions, and
Hmm.
it's very hard for these women to without the support there, without an advocate there, to
Hmm.
have a birth that is worthy of that experience. It's
Mm.
really very sad to see that. And and I'm still amazed at how brave these women are and these parents are, that are now going in and braving that storm, and still finding a way to give birth and have healthy babies. I find it quite remarkable, and very courageous of everyone there, um, including the staff that's helping them out, because they're just given whatever information that they have available. And so but it's really tough to see, because a lot of women who are in labor right now are in need of extra oxygen, because they have to wear the mask. Eventually they are not wearing the mask anymore because it doesn't work. So, but that's the protocol right now. So, and then on the other end of the spectrum is we have people that are um, currently that are dying, and they are alone. There is no family member present, and there is no advocate present for them. And so that's another heartbreaking thing. And it's possible to actually work with that from a distance, for people that have studied the modality that I've studied. It's possible to connect with people who are in transition, who are dying. And I can work with people who need to, have a way to connect with their loved ones, um, and basically show them how to do it.
Beautiful. So now, how would one be able to reach you if they wanted to connect with you in regards to
So
anything that you've talked about?
they can reach me at my website, which is e-lxr.com.
Okay. And you on
And
Facebook or anything
and
like that?
everything is right there. I'm also on Facebook. There is, you can find me at Elixir for All. It's ELXR number 4 all. That's on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me under my name on Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nell, Nell Tomassen. That's Tomassen Reboh. That's Reboh.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me on there as well, and you can see my pages, on my timeline.
Okay, great. Now, thank you. Yeah, I was making a few little faces there because I was drinking some ginger. You know, sometimes ginger can make you. It's giving me a little tickle in my throat. I said, "Oh no!" Ginger is very good. It's a very good source of. It
Yes.
helps in many ways. So I like to drink my ginger and all that. I've had my coconut water, my ginger. I'm taking care of myself.
Yes, that's wonderful. Like, I love ginger.
I don't want to start coughing. I don't want to start. They can say, "What's wrong with her?"
Well, don't hold it in.
That's
don't hold it
faces. In. Yes, right. So anyway, now I want to thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you coming and sharing all your wonderful your story and the things that you do, and it was very wholesome. And there's many different ways that you serve people, and so that's great. And so I want to thank those who are watching or who will watch this, and for joining us with GC. With CG, you know what that is now. I'm not going to tell you. And so thank you for joining us, and there'll be more to come. And so Nell, you stay on the line. I'm just going to end this live on Facebook now. And then we're going to have a little chit chat. Okay, so you stay with me. All right.
Okay.
Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.
I keep doing that. I always want to end the, there you go. All right, let me just